So I just wanted to start the video by saying apologies for the potential issues that might be seen through the lighting situation. With the winter months coming through, it might not always be easy for me to record at the best hours because it gets darker earlier. You know how it is. I'm not here to give you a very basic science lesson, and also any background noise too. I don't live independently, so there may be some videos particularly in the winter months, if I have to record at an hour that isn't the same as I usually would, that you might hear some music in the background, you might hear people talking, because it's just the way it is. I don't live independently. One day we will get there, but for now, that's just how it is. So go easy on me, guys. The video quality may not be the best. May not be as good as it usually is. Not that it's amazing anyway. I ain't amazing at editing, as you guys know, like Mike the Snare, Rick the Light. I ain't on those levels, but just to let you know, it might be a bit shakier than usual. It's that time of year where we get to moan about the Grammys. Don't we love this time of year? We go, the Grammys don't matter, and yet we put so much focus and emphasis on how they kind of do matter, and then if they didn't matter, we wouldn't even talk about them. But they obviously do matter, and that's why we talk about them. I've got the list here on my laptop. I'm just going to run down all the nominations, give my thoughts, my potential predictions as well. I always like to predict. They're sometimes pretty predictable. I've noticed some categories tend to be really easy and you just go, they will win, and that's just how it is. And then there's other categories that make you go, I didn't see that coming. Best examples being Morning Phase, I think it was 2013 or 2014, and then Golden Hour a couple of years back, just ones that we just didn't see coming at all. And sometimes that's just how it is, but we shall see these nominations. I haven't seen all of them at this point, by the way. I've seen a few, talked about a few with a few people, but I haven't seen all of them. So we'll start with the record of the year. I swear to God, the amount of songs that are included increases every year, unless I just forget each year how many get included. But there's loads here for record of the year. We've got Black Parade by Beyonce, Colors by Black Pumas, Rockstar, DaBaby and Roddy Ricch, Say So, Doja Cat, Everything I Wanted, Billie Eilish, Don't Start Now, Dua Lipa, Don't Start Now? Pretty old, I guess, at this point. Circles by Post Malone, and of course Savage by Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce. Pretty wide array of picks. I mean, these are all popular songs, but it's interesting because when you look at a list like this, especially these days, not two songs sound the same. Like Circles is nothing like Don't Start Now, Everything I Wanted is nothing like Savage, and then Say So is nothing like Rockstar. I appreciate the diversity that we've managed to achieve through, the streaming and online era that we're currently in for pop music. There's some great picks here. I can't get mad at these at all. I think Say So by Doja Cat was always the one song by her that I thought was really good. Rockstar, DaBaby, fine, never been big on it. Black Pumas, fine, don't think they ever really have a chance of winning. Black Parade was never huge on that. I think Circles is a good track though. Wasn't ever really huge on Savage, Don't Start Now. Did I say that one? Don't Start Now? I like Don't Start Now, and Everything I Wanted is probably one of the best Billie Eilish tracks. So I think it's a pretty good array of songs, to be honest. But in terms of what's gonna win, I don't know, bro. This is hard. They like Billie Eilish a lot, but I don't know if she'd win Record of the Year for this song. I don't know. I can't pick a song that I think is gonna win. Okay. I'll lock in Rockstar. I think they're gonna go hip hop oriented. I'm gonna go Rockstar. Song of the Year has pretty much the same picks, except we have a few traded out for The Box by Roddy Ricch, Cardigan, Taylor Swift, I Can't Breathe, Her, and then Julia Michaels, If the World Was Ending. I'll be honest, I don't think I've heard that If the World Was Ending song, so that's going to be difficult to gauge. But I guess for this one, I think it could go to Taylor Swift or Beyonce. Beyonce's had quite a few nominations here, and I feel like if she's going to win anything, it might be this one. Because I think, there'd be probably some kind of uproar if Beyonce didn't end up with at least a few wins. especially from her huge following. But I also feel like they could go pretty safe and go Cardigan. I think Cardigan's a pretty solid track, but I could see it being the safe pick. I wanted to talk about Best New Artist as well, because I think this is actually a really good category. Of course, we're not going to talk about the whole new thing because they get it wrong every year. Who remembers when Chance the Rapper won Best New Artist in 2017? Bon Iver won it in 2012. They weren't new in the years they won, and yet they still won in those years, so it never quite makes sense. Even Dua Lipa wasn't technically new last year, but she still won. We know what it's like, but it's essentially who got popular this year, and there's some good picks. I mean, Ingrid Andress is quite a obscure pick, I think. Similarly with Chica, the rapper, I think that's quite an obscure pick, to be fair. And a bit out of left field. I didn't expect that. Phoebe Bridgers is a cool pick. We got Doja Cat, obviously, and Megan Thee Stallion, another pretty obvious one. Noah Cyrus, D-Smoke, and then Kaytranada, which is the most left field one here, I think, because he's certainly not new at all. He's not new in 2020. But yeah, I think this is pretty easy. I think this is Megan. I think Megan's got this. I don't even feel like I need to think about it. If you had to pick, it would be Doja Cat or Megan, and I think it's Megan. I think Megan's got this, but I don't know. I think it'd be pretty sick if Kaytranada won, though. Like Kaytranada, that'd be pretty sick. I think it'd be cool to see him win this. I wanted to tease you a little bit because I didn't want to start with Album of the Year, but of course we have to talk about Album of the Year, bro. We can't miss this one out. Now the plan was for me to check out some of these albums that I hadn't heard before this video, but unfortunately I didn't have quite enough time because I haven't heard Jenny Aiko's album, and I also haven't heard Jacob Collier's album. So my opinion there is pretty defunct. But we do have as well Black Puma's Everyday Life by Coldplay. Thank you to the Grammys for reminding me that album came out last year. Women in Music Part 3, Haim, pretty cool pick. I was quite negative in my review, and it did not go down too well. But look, just because I don't like something doesn't mean I can't be happy to see it there, because I think Haim having an Album of the Year nomination is cool regardless whether I like the album or not. And I still think they're a really good band anyway, because they've got loads of great songs. Even on that album, there were good tracks too, so cool to see that. Hollywood's Bleeding, Post Malone, for real? Come on, we didn't need that there, did we? I don't get their obsession with Post Malone. Like, he always ends up in the Album of the Year category. He ended up in the rap categories when he first started out too. He has a good song every now and then. Circles was good, but he is not an album artist, really. Folklore, Taylor Swift, pretty obvious. I think people locked that in the minute it came out for Album of the Year. And then, of course, Dua Lipa, Future Nostalgia. So if you follow my channel and keep up to date with my opinions, and you remember some of the things I say, you would probably work out that my pick here would be Future Nostalgia, because it is actually still one of my favorite albums of the year. I think the production on that thing is great. The dance pop elements are just nailed in. Dua Lipa's a great performer too, very charismatic, very fun. Just think it's an all-round really stellar pop release. So that would be my pick. But I think they'd probably go with Taylor. I think Taylor's won Album of the Year once or twice before. Yes, she has, of course. She won 1989 over To Pimp a Butterfly. Wasn't a great time. I don't think that was quite justified. But I think Folklore this time around, you could argue it. There isn't anything here that you'd go, oh, this should really win. Because, we do have a few duds in the mix there. So I think you can justify Taylor. I think that'd be pretty cool to see Folklore win. I try not to focus too much on the extra side categories, because I don't think the Grammys put too much emphasis on them. But there is also pop solo performance. It always feels like these ones are just there for the sake of being there. We have Yummy by Justin Bieber. I couldn't not talk about this category, because the minute I saw that there, I just couldn't believe it. Say So, Doja Cat, Everything I Wanted, Billie Eilish, Don't Start Now, Dua Lipa, Cardigan, Taylor Swift. We've seen all these already. Do they need to be in another award as well? I don't really get why the Grammys do this. But there is also Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles. And yeah, I think again this probably could go to Taylor. I said her for Song of the Year, but now I've seen her here, I think maybe she would win this one instead, because it is like a good like performance. Like the performance is what carries the track. So maybe that could be the win. Or Billy, it could be Billy. The dance category is cool to see because I see My High by Disclosure and Amine, Slow Tie, a great track there. You also have Flume in this category, another Kaytranada shout out to. Again, like, I think that track My High is a great track. I think if they won that award, that would be fantastic. They're also featuring again in the album category with their album from this year, Energy. Good to see Disclosure there. It's a solid album. But also we have Arca in there, which is crazy. Arca getting nominated is mad. We have Planets Mad by Bauer, another crazy pick here. And then Madian Good Faith. Not heard that one, unfortunately. And Bubba, Kaytranada. Now, with Kaytranada appearing a few times already, and especially seeing him in the Best New Artist, they tend to do that. They tend to do that where they have like a few artists in one category bulked together, and then if they don't win that, they go further down the rankings but win something else. I feel like Kaytranada will win this if it was my prediction. But God, if Arca won, that would be sick. And Bauer, again, another album I've loved this year, that would also be sick if Bauer won that one. But yeah, my prediction, Kaytranada. Rock performance category is really cool this time around. They tend to get rock a bit weird. Not necessarily like weird as in, well, they do actually. They always put like random songs that aren't really rock songs there. So I guess I still stand by that. It's very odd. But this time around, I've got Shamika, Fiona Apple, we got Not by Big Thief, one of my favourite tracks last year, Kyoto by Phoebe Bridgers. That was like the best song on the Phoebe Bridgers album, man. That's a great pick. The Steps by Haim, that was pretty much the best song on the Haim album. Stay High by Brittany Howard, cool to see her here. And then Daylight by Grace Potter. That's a good category. Very female dominated too, actually, which is an interesting way to look at this, because usually rock is affiliated with a male dominated scene, but lots of females in this category. Can't complain when all of the picks are really good. Seeing Fiona Apple here though actually is reminding me that I think she got a bit of a snub in the Album of the Year category, especially when I was saying some of them are just such duds that I don't know why you couldn't have Fetch the Bolt Cutters in the Album of the Year category. That would have been great. Or even Big Thief, man. Imagine if Big Thief got an Album of the Year nomination. Phoebe Bridgers wouldn't have even been the worst one either, to be fair. And you guys know I wasn't big on the album, but if she got Album of the Year nomination, I wouldn't be really mad. So yeah, I think Haim will win this though, because again, like I said, with Kaytranada being in the higher up tiers and all that kind of stuff, they tend to get nominated elsewhere. And I don't think Haim would win Album of the Year, but they will probably win Best Rock Performance, even though I would absolutely give it to Big Thief. And I love Fiona Apple, but I would still go Big Thief out of all of these, to be honest. But I don't think I'd be mad at any of them winning. Hilariously though, the rock album category doesn't quite match up, which I find really funny. We don't have a Fontaine's DC song in the Best Rock Song, but we have their album in the rock album. Interesting. Kiwanuka by Michael Kiwanuka. Interesting that this was placed in rock, as he tends to be affiliated with soul and R&B. So yeah, pretty cool to see him. Grace Potter again. The Strokes, A New Abnormal, and then Sound and Fury by Sergio Simpson. Now, quite a few of these I wasn't even that big on, so my automatic pick is Kiwanuka, but I don't know if Kiwanuka would win this. I think it wouldn't be, a shame to see the Strokes win. I think it'd be kind of cool to see Strokes. So yeah, I guess we could go with them. And then we got the alternative category as well. Alternative, do we know what that means? Does anyone really know what alternative means? I mean, we do see Fiona Apple here. I said she should have been an Album of the Year. I guess it makes sense. It was a bit experimental for her style usually. We got Beck. They always love Beck. Why do they love Beck? I don't know. We got Punisher, Brittany Howard, and then Tame Impala. Oh, Punisher being Phoebe Bridgers, of course. It wasn't big on Punisher, like I said. Certainly wasn't big on Beck. Wasn't big on The Slow Rush by Tame Impala. So by default, I have to say Fiona Apple, because that is still one of my favourite albums of the year. But again, would have been great to see her in the main category of Album of the Year, because I think that would have been fantastic. Skip through the R&B categories because there's a pile of albums and songs in those categories that I actually just haven't heard, so it feels a bit weird to talk about them. But we will go to the rap performance here. We got Big Sean with Nipsey Hussle. We got DaBaby, Jack Harlow with What's Poppin', Lil Baby, Megan Thee Stallion with Beyonce for Savage, and then Pop Smoke here as well. With my general theory of, you know, you've seen this song in one of the main categories, the higher up categories, it's probably going to win in the lower down categories. So I'm going with Savage by Megan, but I think they will give it to Megan anyway, even if she wasn't nominated in like Record of the Year. I think if I'd seen this song here, regardless, I think it would win, because I just think Megan is going to sweep quite a few of the awards this year. You got melodic rap performance, we got Rockstar, DaBaby, Lockdown, Anderson .Paak. That's great to see. I'm sure Anderson .Paak like won like a half award one time. Did he not? Didn't he win, like get tied with someone else for a win? I'm sure that happened one year. I'll have to look that up. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments as well. We've got The Box, Roddy Ricch, Highest in the Room, Travis Scott, and then Drake with a Little Dirk, Laugh Now, Cry Later. My pick here is Lockdown. Lockdown grew on me a lot, and I'm a big Anderson .Paak fan, but I remember when I first heard it, I just thought it was fine, but it's actually become one of my favourite songs of the year, and I like the way, you know, there's a bit of like a political edge to the track, and some of the lyrics are pretty interesting to listen to as well from his perspective. And it's pretty relevant too. I feel like with the fact that it's a relevant song to today, with it being a coronavirus year and all that kind of stuff and lockdown and shit, it would be kind of cool to see it win. But I think my theory will stay true and Rockstar by DaBaby and Roddy Ricch will win, because it's obviously a popular song already to have been in the main categories of, I think it was Record of the Year. Best Rap Album might be one of the worst I've seen in quite a long time. We got D-Smoke, Black Habits, A Written Testimony, J Electronica, King's Disease, Nas, and then The Allegory by Royce da 5'9". I was pretty positive about that Nas album, but I didn't really think it would I'm just surprised it's here. I know it's a big name. I'm just shocked to see it here. I'm just really surprised. A Written Testimony, I thought was pretty mediocre. The Jay-Z affiliation may end up swaying that for the win, but I haven't mentioned Alfredo yet by Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist, because I did want to save that for last, because I'm pretty glad that this is here. I mean, this is easily the best pick. Like, this should win, but it won't. I don't think Freddie Gibbs is going to win a Grammy. I just can't see it. They're not going to give Freddie Gibbs a Grammy, are they? They're going to go safe, I think, for this. It's probably going to Nas. I truly haven't listened to enough country music in the past year to really have a comment on this section here, which is weird because I do try my best with country music on this channel. I certainly put more effort in than your average music reviewer, I think, but this past year I have not done that. So maybe ask Spectrum Pulse. I think Spectrum Pulse will be good for this one. Send him a DM, check how he's doing, just maybe say, hey man, what do you think of the country? Because I ain't the guy for this one this year. I do want to give a special nod to the fact that Natalia Lafourcade got a nomination in the Mexican, where is it? I'm trying to scroll down and find it. I believe, oh yes, Best Regional Mexican Music Album, which I think is pretty great to see that she got nominated. You know, I guess it makes sense. They do have as many categories as they possibly can for a lot of different musical genres, which I think is pretty impressive for the Grammys. I think we don't praise them enough for doing that. But yeah, I mean, Natalia Lafourcade, if I had it my way, she would be up there in Album of the Year contention, because I just think it really is that good. But I think we're just not there yet. You can talk all day about what we should have in each category and what should be there, but honestly, we're just not there yet with really obscure releases. I've been seeing people say, you know, so many random albums got snubbed, and I get it, but you've just got to understand that if they're obscure and not enough people, you know, in America particularly, because it's a very American centric award ceremony, if not enough people in that country have heard something, then you've kind of got to accept that some things just won't really do well. You know, there are some people saying Charlie XCX, she's just not big enough these days. And I think they've done a decent job in like some of the fields, having artists like Phoebe Bridgers. I think that in itself is impressive. You also have to remember that there is a bit of a random like cut-off date too. It's always really early in the year. I don't know the exact dates, and I don't think it says it on the Grammy website or on the page I'm currently on. So I can't give you an exact date for that, but it does close off a little bit earlier than you'd expect, which I think is always a bit weird. It should just be January to December, I think, really. It makes more sense. The Oscars do it like that. The Grammys don't. We don't know why. Lots of people have mentioned The Weeknd getting snubbed. Apparently he did in fact submit in most of the categories for his album and the singles that came from the album. And the fact that he's not in any of these categories is crazy. Like, he's going to submit and not get nominated? How is Blinding Lights not in Record of the Year? I mean, if it was, that would be my straightaway answer of what I think should win, because that's just a great song. Like, it's such a great song. Or even Song of the Year. He wouldn't be out of place being in the Album of the Year, you know? I don't think he would be out of place there either. So it's interesting. But of course, you know, some of my favourite albums of the year are just not... I just don't think they have enough hype behind them. I mean, Leanne La Harvest, imagine if she was nominated, how good would that be? I guess it would be great to see someone like, I don't know, who else have we got here scrolling through? Fortet, would have been great to see Fortet in the electronic section. Young Nudie for the rap section would have been great. Conway too would have been great. I don't know if Conway was too late in the year to pop up, but even the Alchemist project that he put out would have been good to have in the rap category. Why not? You know, Choir Boy, you know how much I love Choir Boy, man. Would have been great, but some of these artists just aren't big enough, you know. Are we ever going to really see some of these names pop up in the Grammys? No. But I guess all we can do is share the music that we love and pass it on to people that we know will love it, and that's as much as we can do, because Grammys at the end of the day is an awards show. It's not going to align perfectly with our own beliefs, and that's fine. But yeah, they're my general thoughts on the Grammys this year. Sorry this video has gone on really long. I don't think it was supposed to be as long as it has been, but it was interesting talking about the categories and what I think will win and what I think should win and stuff like that. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Do have a good day. Oh, my throat is hurting. Have a good day, guys. Goodbye, and yeah, goodbye.